What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing the Week 4 preview for the NFL this week, and it's been a very confusing past couple of days. The Steelers-Titans game got postponed to a later date, which they confirmed to be Week 7. You can watch my last video, to hear more about that and what my thoughts are on that. But we just found out in the last couple hours, as of recording an upload date, that Cam Newton from the Patriots tested positive for COVID, and the game versus the Chiefs tomorrow is canceled. They said they'll probably play it on either Monday or Tuesday. They also said that about the Steelers-Titans game. I see it just getting postponed. So I think my plan that I said they should just take into account is to add extra weeks at the end of the season for makeup games. And I know it's a little bit, maybe unfair because the teams with the playoff bye get even more time off. But I mean, you can't just disregard the fact that this could definitely happen again, and I feel like it probably will. And I think canceling the season is a little too extreme because there's plenty of teams following protocols perfectly fine. But then you have like the Titans, who, by the way, every single day are getting more players confirmed to be tested positive. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. But anyway, so that game's canceled. That one's not going to be talked about. I might touch on it. I think the Chiefs are going to win because if Cam can't play, the Patriots are not going to win. I don't think they're going to win with Jarrett Stidham versus the Chiefs. Or I just don't think that's going to happen. And they might even lose with Cam Newton. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that game because who knows if it's even going to happen this week. And so getting right into it, we have the Colts at the Bears. This is a matchup I'm not particularly excited for, but I have the Colts taking the win here. The Bears are 3-0, but they've kind of only beaten mediocre or bad teams like the Falcons, who, in the first quarter are one of the best teams in the league, but can't hold a lead to save their lives. And then the Colts are looking better, and the defense is amazing. Like, I predicted that they'd be pretty good, but they're like top two with the Steelers in almost every major category. So, as far as like sacks and turnovers and stuff go, so the Colts are a better team than a lot of people thought they would be, but I had some faith in them. I think they definitely have potential to be a playoff team in the AFC, but we'll have to see how that division shapes up. So, speaking of that division, we have the Jaguars against the Bengals of the AFC North. This one is another game I'm really not very excited for. This week, in general, has a lot of matchups that aren't going to be too exciting, but, I mean, it's football, so we gotta talk about it. The Bengals and the Jaguars, there's not really much to say about them. The Jaguars looked great in the first two games, but against the Dolphins, they looked pretty bad, and I feel like if they can't beat the Dolphins, then I don't see them getting too many more wins this year. And I think the Bengals are okay. They've kind of had bad luck as far as everything goes. Joe Burrow is playing his heart out, and I think he's definitely the guy for the Bengals. He's just got to have time to develop, and they need to put pieces around him to help him succeed, like an offensive line, for one. But, I think Burrow's the guy, and I think he's going to lead the Bengals to a win over the Jaguars here. So next we have the Browns at the Cowboys. Another one I really don't care about because it should be pretty one-sided if the Cowboys play like they have been recently. Dak Prescott is a lot better this year than he has been. I know he's been great, but he's especially impressing. He definitely wants that contract. I can guarantee that. And the Browns, they've only beaten Washington and the Bengals, so those aren't games to judge a team off of because of their two bottom teams. But this is the first winnable game against a tough team because they weren't going to beat the Ravens. I don't think anyone thought they would have beat the Ravens in week 1. So I have the Cowboys winning. I just don't see the Browns being able to hold up with a more complete team like Dallas. So the next game is the Saints at the Lions, and so I have New Orleans taking the win here. The Lions barely pulled out a win by a field goal against the Cardinals last week, even though Kyler Murray threw 3 interceptions. It's similar to the Broncos-Jets game that happened on Thursday, where Brett Rippon threw 3 picks and the Jets still couldn't win. In this case, the Lions did win, but it was just barely by a field goal. And I just don't think if you can't capitalize on the opposing quarterback turning the ball over 3 times, I just don't know what to say. And the Saints are just a better team all around. I think Alvin Kamara is going to run through the Lions defense. Um, and as long as the Saints defense can handle the passing game and Adrian Peterson of the Lions, then I think they'll be okay. So the next game is should be another blowout, honestly. Is the Seahawks at the Dolphins. Not much to say here. I mean, Russell Wilson is the MVP favorite so far. He is playing so well, and he was my pick for MVP before the season even started, so I'm really happy to see him play like that. And their defense is looking better too, even though they've had a lot of injuries so far. I think they'll still make it out pretty good, especially in this game. Even though the Dolphins have Fitzmagic, he was playing really well last week against the Jaguars. I still don't see them getting a win. I don't see this one being very close at all, unless there's some sort of miracle going on. But I think Seattle should get a pretty easy win here. So the next one is the Chargers at the Buccaneers. This is another one I'm not too interested in, but honestly, the Chargers defense has been really good. I think if the defense can stay on top of the Buccaneers offense, I think the Chargers could possibly win. And so that's who I'm gonna pick. Actually, they brought the Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champs, to overtime, and I know it's a division game, those are usually more heated, but still, they brought the Chiefs to overtime. I mean, that's not anything anyone would have predicted any team would do this year. I mean, except for maybe the Ravens, but that game didn't even go to overtime. And I don't know. The Buccaneers lost their only competitive game against the Saints. That was the only one that was like a huge proving game for them so far, because they've kind of only beaten bad teams. They beat the Broncos and then the Panthers, and those just aren't great teams. So I have the Chargers winning here because they're just more proven at this point, and that's just who I think is going to win. So the next game is the Ravens at the Washington Football Team. I'm just going to very quickly touch on this one because it's pretty much the most lopsided game this week. The Ravens are going to win. Washington doesn't really stand a chance unless they can get some serious pressure. But even then, I don't think the offense is going to be able to keep up with the Ravens' defense, although it's pretty patchy in my opinion. Still, Ravens are going to win probably by a lot. I imagine by, I don't know, at least 2 touchdowns, probably more. We'll have to see. The next game is the Cardinals at the Panthers. I have Arizona getting the win out here. I think the Cardinals game last week was just a fluke. I don't really see Kyler turning the ball over like that consistently. It was just a really bad game, and he had some really bad reads in that game. I don't know what was going on. They looked great up until that point, but he just couldn't handle it. I don't know why. It was the Lions, but, it's whatever. But if Kyler doesn't turn the ball over, they're a top team in the NFC. And the Panthers just are a shell of what they were last year, which, by the way, wasn't even very good to begin with, without Christian McCaffrey, and he's out for this game. So that's something to note. And then also something I've heard is that DeAndre Hopkins for the Cardinals is a game-time decision, whether he'll be in the game or not. So that could be a huge game changer. Because in my opinion, he's the best receiver in the league. So if you're missing that piece of your offense, that's a big deal. But the Cardinals have plenty of people to throw the ball to, so I still see the Cardinals getting a win here. Getting into the other half of the games, we have the Vikings at the Texans, which is the game that you're watching here for the gameplay. This is a really interesting one because these are 2 teams that made it to the divisional round in their respective conferences last year in the playoffs, but are both 0-3. The Texans have only had tough teams to play. It was the Chiefs, the Ravens, and then the Steelers. But the Vikings are just playing very poorly. I don't know what the problem is. It's not like they're lacking in talent. Their offense is pretty good, on paper at least, and their defense should be better. But I don't know. I don't see them being able to beat the Texans if they weren't able to beat, like the Titans, which nothing against the Titans. I don't know, man. The Vikings are kind of disappointing me this year. I thought I had them winning their division. Clearly I'm wrong, and the Packers are playing much better, but, it's whatever. So I easily have Houston winning this. I don't know what's wrong with the Vikings this year. Hopefully they pick it up going forward. So the next game is the Giants at the Rams. This one should be pretty easy to call. I think the Rams are going to win this one fairly easily. If the Giants win, I'll be pretty shocked. I just think the Rams are a more complete team. The Giants they're okay. They're better than I thought they would be, but that's not saying a whole lot. And the Rams are just better, honestly. The defense is better than anyone thought they would be because they lost a lot of pieces this offseason, but they're doing pretty well so far. So I have high hopes for the Rams. I think they have the potential to be a playoff team. We'll just have to see how the rest of their season goes. And so the next game is the Bills at the Raiders. And I am very much looking forward to this one because I have both of these teams making the playoffs this year. I still think that the Raiders are a really good team. I don't really care what anyone says. Yeah, they lost the Patriots, but they beat the Saints. And their offense is just really good. It's hard to account for everyone on that team. You know, Henry Ruggs, Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, even Derek Carr to a point. I mean, he can, when he's on it, he can definitely move around and, you know, wow some people with his movability in the pocket. But I don't know. I don't think that they're good enough to beat the Bills, which sucks because, again, I'm on the Raiders hype train. But I just think the Bills are going to be a top AFC team this year. I think they definitely have the potential to go to the Super Bowl this year. We'll have to see how that turns out, but I think the Bills are going to win this game in particular. So the next game is the Eagles at the 49ers. I think the Niners are going to win because Nick Mullins is proving that he is a great backup quarterback. He's everything you want in a backup quarterback. He's playing like a starting quarterback, but he's just meant to be the replacement while Garoppolo heals from whatever injury he had. And it's just really impressive to see a backup playing that well. I think he had a lot of passing yards last week, if I do remember correctly. And the Eagles are, for some reason, one of the worst teams. There is no reason why they should be this bad. They have so much talent on both sides of the ball. I don't get it, but, you know, it is what it is. I have the Niners beating the Eagles here, so the Eagles will have to prepare to face my Steelers next week in week 5, so we'll have to see how that goes too. And then finally the last game is the Monday night game. It's the Falcons at the Packers. This one is also very easy to call. I think Green Bay is going to easily win this one because Rodgers is playing amazing. They beat the Saints last week. And the Falcons, again, are one of the best teams in the first quarter, but suck immediately after that. They cannot hold a lead. It's really sad because there's a lot of talent on the offense. But, you know, their defense is just not good after a certain point. So I think the Packers are going to win. By the way, I don't think the Falcons will even get a lead in this game. Maybe very early, like by a touchdown. I don't think they're going to keep it very long, though. I don't think they're going to get a double-digit lead like they have been getting. So, like I said, this week is a little unimpressive with the matchups. It's not the most exciting week, but there's going to be weeks like that. You know, they can't all be exciting. It would be a little better if the Patriots-Chiefs game was still set to be played. You know, and it might be. We don't know for sure, but like I said, I don't have high hopes for it. I feel like it's probably going to get postponed because if they, you know, they basically found out even later than the Titans did that a player was sick last week and they canceled our game for this week. I don't know. I don't see them playing the game this week. I think they're going to, if they want to prove that their protocols are, you know, safe and all that, they would postpone the game. I just don't think it's a good idea to play it because you don't know how many people Cam's been in contact with, you know. And I heard there was a Chiefs player that tested positive. I don't know who it was, but, you know, it is what it is. I think both teams will be okay after missing a week. You know, I have faith in both teams that they're still going to play well. So whenever they play this game, it should be a good one, but it's not going to happen this week. So that was the week 4 preview. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like if you did and comment down below what you want me to do differently in the next one. I'll see you guys next Saturday. I think I'm deciding I'm going to schedule these so they'll be out every Saturday, the day before game day, you know, minus the Thursday game. I think I'm just going to skip those every week. They haven't been too interesting recently, so we'll just have to see how those shape up. I'm not sure what the schedule is for those. Maybe I'll include them in later ones, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like, and I'll see you guys next week for the next video. Alright, peace.